Today on Capitol Hill, a routine oversight hearing exploded into one of the most confrontational moments yet over immigration enforcement, executive power, and the limits of government authority.
The gentleman yields back. I now recognize the gentlelady from Illinois, Ms. Ramirez, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chairman.
American citizens have been arrested or detained. We focus on those that are here illegally.
Secretary Noem, you lie and you lied to the American people. I will be including into the record an article by ProPublica from October 16, 2025, entitled, "We found that more than 170 U.S. citizens have been held by immigration agents. They've been kicked." There's nothing smiling about U.S. citizens. I'm sorry, that's very inappropriate. Let me continue. Okay. They've been kicked, dragged, and detained for days. The next one.
The Trump administration has specifically targeted the worst of the worst. The individuals that we are going after are those that are violent criminals, those that are breaking our laws.
Secretary Noem, again, you lied to the American people. I will be including into the record an article by the NBC News from December 7, 2025, entitled, "ICE has arrested nearly 75,000 people with no criminal records, data shows." A co-equal branch of government, and it is your obligation as a member of the executive branch to honor decisions made by the highest court of the land. Yes or no, Secretary?
We are abiding by all federal judges' orders. Absolutely.
The Justice Department said that when the administration was ordered back in March to stop sending detained migrants to a mega prison in El Salvador, you personally made the final call to continue the flights anyway. Is that correct?
And the decisions that are made on deportations, where flights go and when they go, are my decision at the Department of Homeland Security. And we'll continue to do the right thing, continue to work and protect Americans, no matter what radical judge comes out and tries to stop us. We'll do.
You lied on the record, and you lied to members of this committee. You violated court orders by not turning around deportation flights bound for El Salvador, where we know that hundreds of people under your leadership have reported that they were raped, they were beaten, and they nearly died. And your agents used chemical weapons in Chicago despite court orders from District Court Judge Ellis forbidding their use. Secretary Noem, you, Gregory Bovino, and your ICBP and DHS deputized agents have waged an unaccountable, unlawful, unconstitutional war against communities across the nation. Our residents have been surveilled, they've been threatened, they've been tear gassed, they've been hit with pepper balls, they've been shot, they've been subjected to warrantless arrest and precision immobilization maneuvers, they've been kidnapped and disappeared under your leadership. So we have a lot to talk about. But you and your department continue to reject congressional oversight. And you know how I know this? I know this because I've requested a meeting with ICE Field Office Director Russell Hutt. I requested a meeting with Field Office Director Samuel Olson. And when you came to Chicago on October 3rd, I publicly and formally requested a meeting with you. So I'm going to be including a letter I sent on October 3rd requesting a meeting with Secretary Noem. So, Secretary Noem, I want to ask you again. Will you commit to meet with me, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have a lot to talk about, and actually my scheduler has a couple dates that I'll get to you after this meeting. I appreciate that. So look, I want to be very clear. You have misused resources appropriated by Congress. You've engaged in unethical behavior. You have repeatedly made false and misleading statements to Congress and to the press, and you've undermined the separation of powers and disregarded the role of Congress and the courts. Bottom line, you lie with impunity, you reject checks and balances, and you ignore Congress and the courts. Your options are limited. Either you're going to resign, Trump's going to fire you, or you will be impeached. I've already called for your resignation. You may remember I hand-delivered my request to you back in May, and I urge you to reconsider resignation because I've taken the first step towards your impeachment, and I've called on the Judiciary Committee to open an investigation into your lawlessness. Mr. Chairman, I know that at the end we'll be entering a number of articles into consent, but since I have a few moments, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter calling the Judiciary Committee to investigate Secretary Noem's impeachable offenses. Whatever you choose, the American people will have justice, Secretary, and you will be held accountable. I'm going to make sure of that every single day. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. I now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr.
What began as 5 minutes of questioning quickly turned into a sweeping indictment of the Department of Homeland Security under Secretary Kristi Noem, with accusations that go far beyond policy disagreements and straight into claims of constitutional violations, ignored court orders, and harm to U.S. citizens. Before we go any further, if you want clear, fact-driven breakdowns of major political moments like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. The exchange unfolded when Representative Delia Ramirez of Illinois took the floor. Her focus was not just immigration policy in theory, but the real-world consequences of enforcement decisions on people living in her district and across the country. She accused Secretary Noem of repeatedly misleading the American public about who immigration agents are actually arresting and detaining. Ramirez challenged a core talking point often used by the administration, that enforcement efforts are narrowly aimed at the so-called worst of the worst, violent criminals and serious offenders. To counter that claim, she entered investigative reporting into the official congressional record. One article documented more than 70 U.S. citizens who were detained by immigration agents, some allegedly kicked, dragged, or held for days, despite being legally American. Another report showed that tens of thousands of people arrested by ICE had no criminal records at all. If you find this kind of behind-the-scenes explanation useful, go ahead and subscribe now so you can stay informed without the noise. The most serious portion of the exchange centered on the role of the courts. Ramirez reminded the Secretary that Congress is a co-equal branch of government and that the executive branch is legally obligated to follow court orders, including those issued by federal judges. She then asked a direct yes or no question, whether the department was complying with those orders. Secretary Noem responded that the administration was abiding by all federal judges' orders, but Ramirez immediately followed up with a specific example that has been at the center of legal controversy. According to the Justice Department itself, when the administration was ordered to stop deportation flights to a mega prison in El Salvador, the flights continued anyway. Ramirez pressed Noem on whether she personally approved those decisions. Noem confirmed that deportation decisions ultimately fall under her authority and added a line that drew audible reactions, saying the department would continue its actions no matter what radical judge tried to stop them. That statement matters because under the U.S. Constitution, federal court orders are not optional. Defying them can trigger contempt findings, lawsuits, and in extreme cases, constitutional crises. If you want clear explanations of why moments like this matter beyond the soundbite, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Ramirez went even further, accusing DHS and deputized agents of conducting what she described as an unaccountable and unconstitutional campaign against communities. Her allegations included surveillance without warrants, use of crowd control weapons, aggressive arrest tactics, and the disappearance of individuals without clear due process. Whether all of those claims withstand legal scrutiny remains to be seen, but placing them on the congressional record significantly raises their profile. If you value deep dives that separate allegation from process and help you understand what comes next, subscribe now to stay with us. The hearing also exposed another critical issue: access and oversight. Ramirez detailed multiple attempts to meet with ICE field office leadership and with Secretary Noem herself, including a formal request made when Noem visited Chicago. According to Ramirez, those requests went unanswered. Under direct questioning, Secretary Noem finally agreed on the record to meet with Ramirez. That commitment, now officially documented, creates a paper trail. If the meeting does not happen, it can be raised in future hearings, letters, or even subpoenas. Before her time expired, Ramirez accused the department of misusing funds appropriated by Congress, another serious claim. Congress controls the purse strings, and spending money outside of authorized purposes can trigger audits, inspector general investigations, and legal challenges. If you want continuing coverage that helps you understand not just what happened, but why it matters and what could happen next, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We will keep breaking down the facts, the law, and the real-world impact behind moments like this.